roll over, and cause voice to speak in unseen places. He also changed rods into serpents, and caused birds to sit on the king's shoulder, and he changed water into wine, and also brought fish, and laid them on the floor at the king's feet. The king said unto him, All these things I have witnessed from my youth up. Show me now, whilst thou remainest here, how thou canst see into my neighbor's house. The magician said, Yea, O king, but for that feat it is necessary to enter the state of the Holy Ghost, trance, and the price is expensive. The king said, I will pay thee, therefore enter into the state of the Holy Ghost. Lucien turned up his eyes and gave a shudder, as one dying, and having stretched himself on the floor, bade the king question him. The king said, Here is chalk. Mark thou on the floor the character which is on the top of my tablet, on the left of the throne. Thereupon the magician marked correctly. And now again the king tried him, as to his power, to see without his eyes, and in far-off places, and, having proved him in many ways, the king said, Canst thou also show the spirits of the dead? Lucien said, Of a truth I can, O king. But that requires me to enter the sublime state of creation, and is even yet more expensive. The king said, Have I not said I will pay thee? Go to, then, enter thou the sublime state of creation at once. Lucien then went into a dark corner, and laid himself down on the floor, and then swallowed his tongue, and was motionless and stiff, like one that is quite dead. Presently a light like a thin smoke rose up from the body, and stood a little aside, and a voice spake out of the light, saying,
Who art thou, that callest up the spirits of the dead? Beware. He whose body lieth stiff and cold beside me is one of the heirs of the immortal gods. What wouldst thou, man of earth?
The king said, Who art thou? The voice answered,
I am Chine, ruler of heaven and earth, the great spirit personified, creator of all things.
The king in satire said, Thou art welcome, O Chine. I am one of the most blessed of mortals, because thou hast made my place a holy place. The spirit then assumed mortal shape, and stood before the king, even whilst the magician's body lay on the floor in sight also. The spirit said,
What question is it troubleth thee, O king? Speak thou, and I will answer thee, for I am all wisdom and truth personified.
The king said, Why hast thou not appeared to me before this? Why have I been left in the dark, as to thy real existence? Answer thou me this, for it is the foundation on which I desire to rest many questions. The spirit said,
My son, Chine, I have been with thee from thy youth up, watching over thee, for thou shalt become the greatest king in all the world. Yea, there are great works for thee to do. And if thou desire to extend the kingdom, or to gain great battles, will show thee the way. Or if thou desire another woman to wife, I will find her for thee.
The spirit said,
Who sayest thou I am?
The king replied, I am at a loss to know if thou art a fool, or a devil, and I say that I have either seen one like thee, or else thee, through many a magician. But, alas, there all knowledge endeth. The spirit said,
Thou saidst thou would pay what the fates decreed. Hear me then, O king. Thou shalt give to Lucien 4 pieces of gold. And after that I will explain all things to thee.
The king then cast the 4 pieces of gold to Lucien, and demanded the knowledge, as promised. The spirit then said,
And on thine oath, thou wilt not reveal.
The king said, I solemnly swear to reveal naught of what thou teachest me. The spirit said,
Know then, O king, I am Lucien, the magician. By long training, the magician attaineth to go out of his own body and spirit, and to appear in any form or shape desired. Wilt thou try me?
The king said, Show me the spirit of Chine. The spirit walked back to the body of Lucien, and presently returned before the king, looking like the spirit of Chine. The king said, It is like the king. The spirit answered,
Hear then, O man, is the end of philosophy? Behold, I am Lucen, also. Some men are one spirit, some two, some three, and some four, to one corporeal body. And yet there is but one person in fact.
The king asked, What becometh of the spirit, when the corporeal part is dead? The spirit answered,
One of two things is possible to every man. His spirit will either dissolve into non-existence, and be scattered, and void like the air of heaven, like the heat of a fire that is burnt out, or else it will reincarnate itself in the body of a child, before it is born, and, so, live over again. Thus came all people into the world. A child that is stillborn is one in whose body no spirit reincarnated itself. There are no new creations. The same people live now on earth that always lived on it, nor will there be any others. They go out of one body when it is old and worn out, and then enter a young one, and live over again and again, forever. Nor is there more nor less unto any man, woman, or child in all the world.
The king asked, What, then, is the highest, best thing for a mortal man to do during life? The spirit said,
To eat and drink, and sleep and rest, and enjoy begetting numerous offspring.
The king said, How long would a spirit live, if it did not reincarnate itself? The spirit said, If the mortal body is burnt to ashes, then that is the time. If the body be buried, and rot, and return to earth, then that is the time. If the body be embalmed, and keepeth well, the spirit goeth back in the embalmed body and remaineth, till that body is mouldered into dust, or burnt to ashes, then is the spirit set free, and ready to either reincarnate itself, or to dissolve and disappear forever. The king asked, As it is with thee, is it the same with all magicians? The spirit said,
Thou hast only given 4 pieces of gold. If thou wouldst have more, the price is expensive.
The king said, I have told thee I would pay whatever the fates decreed, therefore, proceed. The spirit said,
It is even so with all magicians.
The king asked, Show me now that thou canst preach, like Chine. The spirit said,
Thou shalt ask me questions, and I will preach on them.
The king asked many questions, and the spirits paid thereon. Finally the king said, That is sufficient, I will pay thee, go thou thy way. As for thy preaching and thy doctrines, they are nothing. Now will I send, and find another magician, for out of a council with many I shall arrive at the truth.